Okay, so we're on the back section of the property where they've harvested all the pines, so you can see the stumps in here. We've got some flags for way down there for some of the hidden stumps from some of the hardwoods. You can see the destruction back here still. We haven't been able to get back here to use the grapple on the tractor. As you can see, the logging company left a lot of pines. All this stuff could have been used for pulp. 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 So as you see through here, there's the brush pile of just the canopy tops. Mixed with that is 6-inch diameter pieces of wood or logs that could have been used for pulp. 8-inch and plus, we got a stack of right here firewood. I don't know if you can see way back there or not. Tip of my finger right there. It's a huge mound of wood that could have been used for. That's 8-inch plus. That's going to be firewood for us because they didn't take it. So look at this. This is a huge whole tree basically. Definitely 8-inch, 10-inch, even some 12-inch sections. Why they didn't take it, we don't know. We have probably a whole tandem truckload left. But anyway, that's beside the point. So what happened was, they told us, oh, we're not going to cut down any of your hardwoods. We're going to selectively pick your pines. Well, they didn't cut the hardwoods. They ran them over and snapped them off. They didn't actually cut them. These here have been cut because they were rooted still in the ground, and when they run them over, this is the end result. This stump here, they've just split the hardwoods over. Now the issue with the grapple on the tractor is that you go to pick up a layer of material and these hardwoods are still tied into the ground, so you go to pick it up and it wants to dump your tractor forward regardless of how much ballast you have on the back. So that's a problem. And so we're having to come through and cut all these hardwoods. So eventually, ultimately, they're all gone. So I'm out here just to show you. We have the barn here. There's our house. We're going to take from this edge of the barn. And this is going to be our clearing area. So this is what I'm working on today, is this section here. All of that's on the other side of that cherry tree over here is going to be naturally grown back, with the exception of a path that I'm trying to make to be able to access that firewood with the tractor that's behind there. So that's kind of what we're going to be working on from the fall to the spring here. Now the issue that we have is access, obviously, so I'm having to take the stump grinder and grind a path forward, just to not upset the tractor if I hit some of these stumps or pop any tires or anything like that, because there's some big stumps that aren't marked that are in here from the pine trees that they didn't cut flush with the ground. They've cut them 6 inches above, which is a pain in the butt because to get a chainsaw that low is really tough stuff. So speaking of chainsaws, this is part of the chainsaw issue that I'm having. I've been trying to cut these trees down and that chainsaw kept dying, so we're going to be doing another video here in a minute on whether or not I got the chainsaw working. So project today is we're going to thin out some of these beech trees. We're going to keep the maples and oaks, get these beech trees out because I hate them. They branch out way at the bottom all the way up to the top. I'll show you that in a second. And just as a tip, since I'm over here, get yourself a little Rubbermaid tote or cabinet like this. I don't know, they're like 80 bucks. And take it with you. It's light enough you can carry it by yourself. Put your tools in there. We've got shovels and rakes and all that stuff that we're temporarily using out here. And that way you don't have to keep walking back and forth huge distances. You have everything kind of there that you need at the ready. And you can move it to the next spot. And we just have that one tied to a tree so that it doesn't get knocked over by the wind. It's fairly weatherproof, but anything that's in there is designed for being outdoors. So going back over here, show you some of the beech trees that we're going to be cutting down, just for identification purposes. Oh, and here's a perfect example of a oak tree that they didn't cut, that's just knocked over. So ultimately that tree's going to die. But anyway, here's a beech tree. So you see how it's branched out all the way to the bottom, and it starts to twist around itself and all that good stuff. Hate them. Can't see through it, and these things get really green and bushy in the springtime. So we're cutting all these out. Going to try and salvage the oaks and stuff, because back here we're actually going to replant, you know, some walnut trees and things like that. But here's an example of some beech. See this, how bushy that is? Some people like that. Me particularly, I don't, because I like light. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of these. Alright, that's the project for today. Getting rid of the beech trees. On to the next.